Greetings. Got a little treat for you guys.
Any further magnetic disturbance?
Negative, Captain. Scanners indicate situation normal.
Nothing.
Nothing. Illogical. An effect of such proportions. Unexplainable by any established physical laws that I'm aware of. I have been able to ascertain one fact. Though the effect, whatever it was unquestionably widespread. It was strongest here, on the planet beneath us. Keep checking.
Hello Internet, I hope you are all awesome. That was Star Trek, the original series, and that is episode 27. I think it's called The Alternate Factor. But they're talking all about the effect, and they're talking all about reality shifts and parallel universes, and yeah, loads of goodies. Far too many to kind of recollect. I find that whenever I watch these kind of movies or old TV shows and they deliver some kind of message to me, it's such a huge kind of body of information. You know, normally it's kind of, it wouldn't just be kind of like referring to an effect. A narrative or something that's weaved into the story is just so much greater than the actual episode itself. For me to say kind of this happened, that happened, the other happened, I could spend 3 hours doing an analysis on a, what are they, 45-minute episode. And I've never really been a Trekkie. I'm only just kind of really getting into Star Trek. And yeah, I was led back to the original series by another YouTuber, and he kept making reference to an episode which is called Shore Leave, which is episode 15 from the same original series. And 3 times this guy kind of mentioned it, possibly more. But it's normally the 3 factor for me. If something comes up or something suggested, and it happens once, I kind of put it in the back seat of the mind. If it's mentioned again, I kind of go, oh, maybe I should check that out. Then if it's mentioned again, it's definitely got to go on the reading list. I'm going to move this monitor away from me. And I may even turn it off because it's kind of distracting me somewhat. So yeah, I checked out this episode, Shore Leave, and it had the White Rabbit, it had Alice, it had the concept of creating your own reality. Yeah, it just went on and on and on again. Like I say, just like a huge body of information, or I don't want to say affirmation. It's very strange considering that that's like 50 years ago, right? So that's 1967, I believe, these Star Trek episodes. So it must have been penned way before that, you know? So we barely kind of been into space, if you believe that that really did happen. I mean, I'm with my belief systems at the moment, I'm kind of letting lots of them go. If anything, the path of kind of truth, you know, for me, has been more. It's not been about learning new truths or greater truths. It's been more a case of kind of disregarding things that I previously believed were the truth. But yeah, 50 years ago. And yeah, that episode, The Alternate Factor, there's a guy in blue with a beard. And I was talking about the Bluebeard, or Bluebeard, or the Bluebeards in a video, a couple of videos back. And I made a point that whenever I tend to kind of mention a YouTuber or someone that I've kind of, don't know, identified with. I don't know. I don't. Not that I'm saying I identify with him or anything like that. I said that whenever I tend to mention someone publicly, not long after that, something will come along into my reality to make me cringe a little bit. You know, something will happen with that particular individual that I've only just referenced, or a whole other narrative will come along about them and totally discredit them, and it kind of leaves me feeling, oh, you know, like when that happens. But it's happened kind of too many times now to be coincidence. You know, it's like this message will self-destruct, you know, because I will receive a message through a particular individual, and yeah, it just resonates with me. It's truth. I know it's truth. I feel it. I don't think it. I don't need to work anything out. I get this message, and then the message kind of self-destructs. If I was to try and share that message with 80% of the planet, you know, the mouth breathers, you know, they take one look at this individual, or kind of the persona that they put off. I really can't put my finger on this, but they won't be able to see it, or they won't be able to see past the lunacy of it, you know. And yeah, in many ways, it makes sense, you know, to me that when I get these kind of personal messages, they're for me, you know. And when I try and kind of point other people towards a particular teacher, yeah, like I say, not too long after I've kind of done that publicly, yeah, I look back at these people where I've got these messages from, and I go, my God, what was I thinking, you know? But it's really beautiful in the way that kind of don't shoot the messenger. They're just a channel, and they're just delivering you one message, you know. And I believe a lot of the channelers now, you know, it's really we're all channels essentially, but it's really changing in the way that we're able to kind of, or the way that we're adapting, you know, to kind of deliver a message, to kind of keep that oral tradition kind of intact, as it were, you know, veiling it in some kind of yeah, madness. I don't know, but yeah, the Star Trek episode that come up for me, that was a few weeks back, and then I went on, and yeah, it was like I was at movie school. I kind of had quite a few things come into my inbox, or my own work pile, and yeah, I checked out some TV shows and old movies, and I've kind of just been kind of really kicking back and healing, and yeah, they've just knocked my socks off, because all of them reference back to one another, and there's always a lot of foreshadowing whenever I'm going through a certain kind of lesson. I don't know, it's very hard to describe, really hard to describe. I get given like a collage of movies, music, books, and like I say, that they all seem to be telling the same story. And yeah, I'm really tried to take myself by surprise today by making a video, because yeah, I lost the will to do it. I really kind of I go through these stages where I'm really focused. I'm just checking my time. I'm really kind of focused on making a video, and I've got all that potential energy and all these weird ideas, and I really need to kind of share. That's how it feels. And when it comes to actually sitting down, it's like I'm a really easy target for kind of the rage vampires. It's like when I go into a really, really deep meditation, and yeah, I'm in nirvana. If something comes when it always fucking comes along, comes along and it kind of rattles my Faraday box, you know, or whatever. I've kind of don't know quite how to describe it. But when something comes along and kind of screws with my piece, the guy that comes out of that, you know, is it's kind of not me. You know, it's very, very hard to describe because that rage, you know, that kind of yeah. When I kind of get pulled off course, that's when I feel like I'm really being fed off, because I kind of it's like I've almost got no control over that those emotions. You know, I'm opened up and I'm raw, and when something comes along, as I say, like it normally does, tyranny can ensue. But in my last video, I talked about speaking to some physicists and going to the university, Oxford University, and going to the physics department and speaking to these guys about reality shifts and parallel worlds and everything like that. And it was a real kind of defining moment in my journey, because I kind of come face to face with myself. As I said, I was trying to become a bit more grounded about it. I wanted to go and actually talk to, so I actually wanted to really do something rather than just fucking making videos. But I found this piece just a few days afterwards. It was really like beautiful and synchronistic, and kind of I didn't need to do anything. I just needed that intention. I just needed that kind of that idea, and then the universe delivered me this beautiful piece, and I'm going to try and find it. I'm never prepared, because I always have to take myself by surprise when I make these videos, like I say. Right, here we go. This is from Hidden Meanings, and it's Bill Donohue's website. So look out for Bill Donohue. He may be about to get discredited in some really kind of full-on way. Now, I love Bill Donohue. I've been listening to him for many years, and his videos go back to like the 80s or the 90s. And so anyway, he talks in this article about the Mandela effect, and he talks about Paco Voltan and the Mayan prophecy, and how Paco Voltan believed he was from a parallel universe, and he was a prophet in the Paco Voltan's prophecy was made in 600 AD, and that's with the Mayan prophecy and everything. But anyway, Bill Donohue, like he always does in many of his talks, Hidden Meanings is the kind of title to his talks, and he does it from a church in or a basement kind of church in America somewhere. But he always references scientists and scientific papers and scientific research, and he kind of marries that up with spiritual teachings. And so yeah, he's got some quotes from philosophers here, from physicists here, and philosophers, I believe. But I'm going to share a few with you. So this is Paul Steinhardt, and he's the Albert Einstein Professor in Science, the Department of Physics and Astrophysical Sciences at Princeton University. Everything you're about to read here seems impossible and insane, beyond science fiction, yet it is all true. These other universes contain space, time, strange forms of exotic matter. Some of them may even contain you in a slightly different form. Serious scientists dismissed all this as speculation. Dismissed all this speculation as absurd. But now it seems the speculation wasn't absurd enough. Parallel universes really do exist, and they are much stranger than even the science fiction writers dared to believe. Then we've got Max Tegmark. He's from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. There are infinitely many other inhabited planets, including not just one, but an infinity, many that have people with the same appearance, name, memories as you, who play out every possible permutation of your life choices. And then we've got David Durst, and he's from Oxford University. And he says, our twins in parallel universes are just as real as we are. The notion that our world is somehow more real is derived not from experience, since each world seems equally real to its inhabitants, nor from quantum mechanics. In an absolute sense, there are no splits at all, and no movement when your unseen counterparts can no longer affect you. Then we've got physicist Fred Alan Wolf. And where's he from? Not sure where Fred Alan Wolf's from, but he's a really cheery looking fellow. What is a parallel universe? Like an everyday universe, it is a region of space and time containing matter, galaxies, stars, planets, and living beings. In other words, a parallel universe is similar and possibly even a duplicate of our own universe. So there we go. That's what the physicists have to say. And I'm going to try and get in touch with David Durst. And who was the fella that Nick Bostrom? He's a Swedish philosopher that was at Oxford University. He did the simulation theory. I believe there was another couple on here, I think. Nick Herbert. Oh, there's loads more. So, when I posed that idea, and I was indeed going to follow through with it and go to the university, I just have to put my cap in the way so I can see my little time thing. Yeah, when I posed that idea, I got much the response I expected from people. There were people saying, "Oh yeah, you should just take this evidence and do this," and kind of pretty standard kind of responses. Then there were the people that were kind of, you will just be dismissed, he'll be afraid of losing his job. There are other people saying that the video was kind of false advertising because I hadn't actually done it yet. Yeah, it kind of stirred up a little bit of a kind of, I don't know what happened. But that video did really well. It probably one of my highest viewed videos I've had to date, and I haven't made a video since. I've tried to. I was near the physics department, and I was tempted to go and move forward with this idea, but I'm going to just kind of go with it, you know, by rushing into things and kind of doing it. Yeah, that's kind of what a lot of these videos have been. And if anything that the universe is teaching me at the moment is to slow down. You know, I notice that everybody's on the run, and the jobs that the universe puts me into just shows me, you know, in full technicolor what's going on with people. And yeah, I'm working in a coffee place at the moment. I'm doing it to polish up on my coffee making skills, or that's kind of what I'm telling myself. I'm earning money while I'm doing it, but I want to know more about making a good coffee. So yeah, there's more than one reason for it. But when I'm serving the customers, it gets busy in the morning because I don't want to give away where it is. But it's very busy. So you've got lots of workers or lots of people on their way to work coming for their kind of daily opiate of coffee, you know, and all the so I have to really bite my tongue, or I have to just remain in childish amusement at Pavlov's people, you know, because the archetypes that I see, the people that I see, they're just they're like clones of each other. You know, there's only kind of maybe a dozen different kind of people, you know, anymore. It's really bizarre. But the thing that really kind of gets to me about this particular job is I'm going to pretend like I'm serving you coffee now. So there'd be a counter here with a till, and then you'd be there ordering your coffee. And people like to be able to order the usual, and I understand that, and that kind of happens with quite a few of the customers. But one thing that really is really testing me and really making me frustrated, I need to grab a phone to make an example. that's my old iPhone, and the thing that suckered me into buying an iPhone for was that's helicopter glass. It's indestructible. What a fucking laugh, eh? But yeah, so you can pay with your phone now, or you can pay contactless with your card. And just how quickly that's evolved, you know, that we've gone from kind of having to sign to kind of entering a PIN number to now kind of just touching the EFT machine, the kind of credit card machine. But now there's been another evolution that you don't even say anything now. You just kind of hold your card there, and I'm being trained to be a Pavlov person myself, to just kind of assume that person is holding their credit card in front of the machine. There's just no manner, and it is contactless. That's what that whole deal's called. But it's just become so contactless, you know. And the way that people, like I say, Pavlov's people, they just come in, they order their coffee, and they just don't want to even say, oh, I'm going to pay on my card or anything like that. They just hold it there. And I said, within a year, people just won't be fucking saying anything. You know, it's unbelievable. And paying on your phones and all that, and I think it's wonderful. I just think it's, yeah. Get a chip in your hand. It's fucking fantastic. I don't even need to put my hand in my pocket anymore. I just do that. I made a video because that kind of came up on a TV about kind of people getting chipped up and stuff like that. But right, before this runs too long, so I was talking to my dad earlier, and I was saying what would happen if I went to the physics department and kind of went in there and said, all these things that you talk about, I'm having experiences that would kind of confirm those theories. But most of the people that kind of gave me comments to that video saying that I'd probably be dismissed and all that, there's a very big possibility that would just happen. And I liken it to kind of, or I likened it when I was having this conversation with my father, about if I was to go to my local church as a shaman and talk about my experiences with spirits and angels and demons and Jesus and all those other cool dudes, you know, that are all kind of on the outernet. And yeah, to go down there and say, well, actually, I've felt things. I've had an angel hold my hand, you know, or I've had an angel wrap his arms around me, you know, I've been high-fived by God. As soon as you start to kind of say that you're having these experiences and you're confirming their kind of beliefs, you know, it would seem that's kind of pushing it a bit too far. And it's the same with kind of these areas of kind of quantum physics and stuff. It's kind of, it's out of bounds in a little while. It's out of bounds in some sort of way, you know, to kind of actually say, it's nice to muse about these things, it's nice to suppose about these things, but when you have some sort of experience that would confirm that these things are indeed real, it's kind of for you, you know. And when you go and share it with the people that have kind of that are I don't want to offend anybody, you know. People have their belief systems, you know, and nowadays people are kind of entertaining belief systems. They're kind of adopting recreational belief systems, you know, for a little while, of a way of kind of summarizing the universe, or kind of finding some sort of way to kind of accept the universe, you know, or the universes. And I'm not gonna go any further with that. I'm happy with what I've done today. My brain feels kind of a little bit freer. I was going to talk about a load of other stuff. I mean, the last few weeks have been horrendous with dark energy, bad stuff going down, really weird, wacky, off the wall stuff. I'm here to try and bring a bit of levity to this situation. I will be back. I am gonna. Here's a joke for you. What did Jesus do when he stormed the physics department? He turned the tables vertical, and they floated in the air. I want to work on that joke. But yeah, what do you do when you go into these places and say it's very nice that you're kind of you're musing all this stuff, and all these physicists are making these kind of proclamations and kind of delivering these kind of this is how the universe is. They really do exist. I mean, this is some of the statements, the language that they're using. The physics of belief. Does it just indeed take me to go, right, it's real, I'm going down there, I'm going to own this shit? But it's kind of put me into a state of analysis paralysis somewhat. But this video's helped. Anyway, I hope you guys are all well. Keep being quantum, keep being you, and I'll catch you soon.